Okay, welcome back. What we are going to be doing today is just a little exercise we're going to do in class. It's going to be tracing a cartoon character. This character actually happens to be the South Park character Stan. And we're going to get started here. So what I've done is I've already gone ahead and I've made individual layers for all of my my bits and pieces. And toque is spelled wrong, so I better fix that right now. So anyway, we've got all these nice layers here. The first thing I'm going to do is go to my Stan layer, and that's the default layer. It just turns blue. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to go to File, Place, and I'm going to place my Stan picture. There's my Stan guy right there, and I'm going to make sure this little guy is turned on the link button. Why? Because if I leave that turned off, it's going to embed the file, and I want it to be linked also. So I'm going to place this guy, and you see it comes in rather small. That's okay. I'm going to go to my my scale tool, which is somewhere around here. There we go. Ask for scale, and I'm going to hold my shift key down and just drag up diagonally, and that's just going to scale this guy up to my 8.5 by 11 page. Now I'm going to get him in there just like so, roughly centered, and just lock that guy down. So now it's not going anywhere. So first thing I'm going to do is start drawing some little bits and pieces, and I'm going to do the hardest thing first, and that's actually going to be, well, it's the one of the more technical things. I'm going to draw this little the toque area up here. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to this guy right here, and I'm going to tackle this little section. So this actually is just a rounded rectangle shape, and then it's just rotated and duplicated through a series of degrees. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here, I'm going to get my rectangle, my rounded rectangle tool, and I'm just going to try to draw this out just roughly. Notice it pretty much matches it bang on. And I'm going to go in here, and first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of my stroke, and I'm going to change the color. Now I may not be able to, because this is a Photoshop file and it's locked, and it's CMYK, I believe. I can't sample this color, so I'm just going to go in and just snag a color as close to possible. We'll make it something like that. So there we go, there's my color. So I'm going to go in here, and I can do this two ways. I can go to my rotate tool, and I can let's see, command click on the center, and it's going to say what angle do you want me to rotate it at. I can do let's see, 20 degrees. I can preview it. That's pretty close. So I can kind of mess with stuff like that, maybe do 23 degrees. I do that, and so if that's okay, then I copy it, and then I just kind of duplicate it through so it does like so. I can also go in here and select this guy like so, and I can go over to my distort and transform, and then I can go in here and I can click on my preview, and then I can type in, say, 23 degrees here. It's going to do the same thing, and I can say, well, how many copies do I want? You know, I want 10 copies, for example, and then go OK, and then it rotates all the way through. This one here is more numeric, so you can actually have a bit more control over things, but the first one I showed you, which is command clicking, is a bit more flexible, so I can just kind of see exactly what's going on. So I'm going to type in again, say 23, so it rotates it once, and then I click on copy, and once that's copied, I'm going to click type command D to duplicate. So command D, command D, command D, command D, command D, command D, and then we get this nice shape. So there's part of my toque. And actually this little shape here, this half circle for the guy's head, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually just draw the head on the head layer, and then I'm going to copy that head, that circle, up into the toque layer, and because I'm just going to draw one circle and cut it in half. Why should I bother to draw two circles when one will do fine? So I'm going to go down to my head layer, and I'm going to move this out of the way a bit, and I'm going to go in here and I'm going to get my circle. It's the ellipse tool actually, and I'm going to hold down the command shift. Well, once I actually get this drawn out, I'm sorry, option shift to get a nice circle drawn out here, and I'm going to ruffle it out, sort of, kinda, and I'm actually going to double click on this layer and change the layer color because it's really hard to see. I don't know, let's go to like an olive green just so it actually stands out, and I'm going to move this in, and I might want to scale this up a bit more. And sometimes it helps if you're actually tracing this stuff out and you can't see the stuff, either change it to a stroke so you can see what's going on, and I'm going to do this rather quickly. And you'll see that in a lot of these characters, the shapes actually have to be just tweaked and squeezed a bit because they're not exactly perfect. So there's my head shape right there. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to flop that to red. I'm going to double click on it and I'm going to get like a flesh color in here, which is probably going to be something over here like so. Snag that. So there's my head. And I can turn that off and on. Like so. So I'm just going to turn that off and lock it. When you're tracing stuff, it helps if you just keep things turned off that you don't need to see, just because it's really difficult. So I'm going to take this head layer, I'm going to copy it, I'm going to lock it, go back to my toque layer, and I'm going to paste. If you want to paste things exactly where they want to be, like paste in front, if it's Command F, and that'll paste it directly in front of everything else on that layer. If you want to paste it directly in the same spot where you copied it from, paste it behind, it's Command B, paste it back. And I'm just going to move this up now, and you'll see now that I move it up, matches perfectly. So now we have two different shapes. All I'm going to do now, I can do two things to kind of cut this circle in half. Number one, I can go in here and I can click on this little shape like so, and I can delete it. And you see right now, it kind of looks like it's got a skull cap. So right now, I'm going to actually change this color. I'm going to change it to actually the blue that I want, just a dark blue. So right now you see you've got this path, and the path is trying to fill it, and it looks like it's a filled path. But if I was to go to my outline mode, which is Command Y, you'll see that all I have are just these two, just one like line segment making an arch. It's not a closed path. This path has to be closed. So I got to go in here, and I'm going to click on it. And it really helps actually in this mode to see what exactly is going on. And if I click on these two paths like so, shift click on them and do it's Apple J, join, I always call it Apple Jacks, or Command J. If I click on these guys and I go join, it automatically closes them. So the command there is join. It's Command J to join the 2 points together, and that gets rid of all kinds of stuff. I can actually go in here if I want and like click on this with my pen tool and click on that with my pen tool, and it does the same thing. So, and now you see it's got a nice closed path, and now when I go back here, there's Stan's hat. So now we have Stan's head, now we have his hat. Now we got to work on this toque a bit more. So now what we have to do is actually, I'm just going to move this out of the way for a second, we got to draw his little top shape there. That's not a problem. And sometimes you'll see like if things aren't exactly going the way as planned, and you've got this little layer in front of you and you want to see what's behind it, you can change the transparency just for fun. I'm just going to decrease the opacity here so I can see what the heck's going on underneath me, so I can trace another layer. This guy here, there are 3 or 4 different ways to do it. For the exercise, you guys are going to use the pen tool. So what I would recommend doing is actually just starting at one side, going right over to the other, and hold the shift key, and then you click. So now you're just making one straight bar. Then I'm going to go over to this side, click. Notice it's filling in. It's not a closed path yet. And I'm going to go to the other side, click, click. And then I got to actually go in here, and I'm just going to zoom in, and I'm just going to totally screw things up. I'm going to get my direct selection tool. I'm going to click on this little guy, and I'm going to nudge it over just a bit. I mean, when you're tracing stuff, because it's a raster image, again, raster is all pixel based. Notice all the jaggy pixels all over the place. There is a little room for error because it's really hard to match exactly. So, and notice this is not, it's not a perfect rectangle. It's off. So now we got this weird shape here. So there's a couple things I can do. I can either, do this. I can go and use my pen tool, and I want to make this arch here. So I can go in and add a stroke there, a point there, and I can add a point there. I can shift click both of these and drag them up like so. So now I've got like this kind of chevron, this angle dealy. I can go back to my pen tool, going to go to convert anchor point, and I can click on one, make sure it's the right way, drag it out like so, then go to this one, make sure it's the right way, and drag it out and kind of make sure it matches. Maybe drag this down a bit. There we go. So now we've got our